Oh, it's just come up, it says I'm live. Okay. Well, I hope I am. I've had a bit of a weird day. I've had 2 hospital appointments today. One at King's Hospital in London, and one at Canterbury Hospital in Canterbury. But they were by phone. Now, one was to the endocrinologist, that's at Canterbury, and how they can do anything by phone I don't really know. And that was, he asked me when I last had a blood test, and I told him that was in January before I went to my last appointment. He said, oh, we need to have a new one, but I'm in isolation, so that isn't going to happen. Anyway, that's all by the way. The other one was haematology. Now that was my yearly MOT to see how my body's working, and it's just not. But it's all good, it doesn't really matter. There's no real great news, so I'm not even going to try. I don't really care. I waved. Apparently it says so there. I know I did it because I saw myself do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a couple of poems. One's an old one. It's to make you smile. And one's a new one. The old one's called Smile. It's not got anything to smile about, but it's called Smile. Apart from that, I just waved again. It keeps telling me that I waved. I knew that because I saw myself do it. Nanu to you as well. I'm not a weirdo, mate, though. Bear that in mind, okay? Cheers. Okay, here's the first poem, whether you like it or not. I realise it all seems quite grim right now and looks to be getting worse. How did we end up with what seems like years more of this horrible curse? Always, Alan. And I'm not really sure how I got this drawn in. As an anarchist, I usually ignore all that spin, but chin up, folks. What happened is done. I guess we should batten the hatches. When society is failing, mistrust gets built up with an infrastructure made out of patches. So try not to worry, although you may due to recently unbalanced thingamy. This may be the end, but that's also the start, and so on, but so surreptitiously. Nothing is forever, or guaranteed really, but birth and life and death. So try to be happy and smile in its face till it takes its very last breath. If you aren't royal stock, or at least upper crust, as far as they're concerned, you can all just eat dust. If you've managed to get this far into this drone, even though I continue in this monotonous tone, what I'm trying to tell you is it's just not a moan. I'm luckier than most because I have got String, my imaginary friend. Now, there's a thing. As I said just before, it's really quite grim, so there's only one way it can go. So look up, look around, and get rid of the frown. Try to smile, you may not feel so low. I've had chemo galore and bone marrow transplant, that's just in case you didn't know. I really meant didn't, because the other sort is a hollow and after the effect of a blow. So here I'm telling you the same sort of stuff as most of those witchy girls tell. Beware of my locks or my tickety-tocks. They could put you under my spell. But this nonsense I spout always keeps me amused, and if you don't get my drift, you'll just be confused. But I drift from the point, if you know what it was. If you didn't, well, neither did I. But it got you distracted and listening to nonsense and maybe a smile in your eye. So take hope from it all, as it isn't all bad, and I realise you may feel you've all just been had. I'm just the same. I got drawn into this game, and those who to blame are politically insane and not worth my breath to utter their names. So try to keep smiling and take heart from my words, or dismiss what I say and think I'm absurd. If you do, then I'll think that you just never heard. That adversity is just a calamitous event, so then smile at it all, because that's what I meant. As division of all of us is their final intent, democracy is crooked and broken and bent. So a new ideology is clearly what's needed. Get rid of your anger, or they have succeeded. Instead, fill your heart with love for this earth, the place where you live, this land of our birth. And I'm not meaning country when I speak of this land. It's the big, wider world, and it's really quite grand. The world that's in peril, that needs a strong hand, so please stop squabbling and just make a stand. Please stop all the hatred, it's really quite vile. You're my brothers and sisters, and I urge you to smile. It's sad, the hate that I'm seeing from another human being. Things seem quite grim, but they have for a while. My health's not improving, and yet I smile. That's called Smile. I hope it made you smile. It's nonsense, as of course most of my stuff is. The other poem I wrote, well, an hour ago. Took me ages, took me at least 20 minutes. That's why it's crap, because I don't take any time over them. I don't care. It's words are words are words are words. It's called Popopoem. Is it any wonder people get obsessed when others try to contradict and say they know the best? An expert is an expert, but an opinion's just a view. I'm no expert on anything, but neither are most of you. I can scribble and I can write, but rarely say it isn't shite, unless I'm told by someone else to stop denigrating my stuff. Whilst trying to blow down a house of bricks, I huff and I puff and I puff. A tissue, all fall down is what they said before, but this one is much stealthier, so you better lock your door. Wear a mask and disposable gloves, and dump them wherever you can. Leave them for someone else to infect, seems to be the plan. Keep away 2 meters or more, and do not try to hug, or you'll become a vector for this invisible corona bug. Don't listen to the government, 'cause they just lie to you. Just get together and make a pot of that lovely corona stew. I digress from the point of this when I started, so apologies for my digression. The Popo soared through someone's door, then charged them with possession. The Popo who only found half a spliff resting in an ashtray. The Popo who will never think for themselves, just be part of a larger cliche. The Popo who are undermanned due to people's lockdown resistance. The Popo who have COVID immunity, so they need not social distance. The Popo who think that if demanding your details, they get miffed when you will not say. The Popo who think if you don't tell them now, they have the right to lock you away. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not actually saying that acronym A, merely the ones I call Popo, because they are as thick as can be. Well, I love you too, Jenny. I don't care. I don't care if you like it or not. That's all I've got. Come on, questions. You can question me. I won't answer, but you can question me. Wow, there's a whole 5 of you watching. Wow, my live streams are filling up the airwaves. Anyway, Canamaste. I might make some news for next fortnight, but I'll only make it up, you know, fake, stolen, fake, China designer label that I am. Bad photo, what's those things called? I don't even know what they're called. See, brain's not working. Must be the mushrooms. Anyway, don't pass audit prog, Uber Lieber Renes Kane, master, as it says on my cup. One love, and I'll catch you all eventually sometime. Look, I'm going to wave to you, but I'm going. You know, I'm not staying on here because it's very boring. Nobody's asking me anything, and I can't keep talking. No, I can't keep talking. Actually, I can talk forever and ever and ever, but you'll all just fall asleep, and then you know what will happen. Where does Bellybutton Fluff come from, and where does that one sock disappear to? That's really strange. What strange questions. Bellybutton Fluff. Bellybutton Fluff comes from inside your belly button. It's actually your internal organs turning to dust, trying to escape. And that one sock becomes an earring. That used to be a sock. That used to be a sock too. Yeah, I love you too, Paul. I'm not crazy though, to be fair. You know, I am a bender scum, nothing more. And that's the end of the not the breaking news. I'll say it again. Canamaste. I'll read you another poem if you want. Do you want me to read? Tell me that you want me to read you another poem, and I'll read you another poem. They're all crap. I might even read one from this book. I've got this book here about. I've got this book of poetry. You wouldn't. Okay, well I'll get off then. That's fair enough. I'm quite happy to get off. It doesn't really matter to me. Oh, you forgot me. I need some mushrooms, please. The good ones. That'll transport you places. Yeah, I know. I had mushroom carbonara. Oh, it was really nice. So you want me to keep talking? What do you want me to talk about? Anything interesting? Because I don't know anything interesting. But I'll find a poem for you. Here we go. Oh, yeah, and I'll show you this. This is important, right? Dit bit is opzettelijk leeg. This bit is deliberately clear or empty. And the poem I'm going to read you is called They're all really crap, aren't they? I'm looking for a good poem, but there ain't any. Born in Malaysia, skun up in a cave, lived in a forest, must be depraved. Strangled my son to teach him respect, got very skinny, but that's what you'd expect. My invisible friend is a weird guy called String. My life mantra is nonsense, that is a thing. When they gave me leukemia to make me back down, that didn't work, it can't make me frown. I think that 2 heads are better than 1, but a bone marrow transplant was not so much fun. I don't give a toss if you like me or not, as long as my world still supplies me with pop. I'm just a bender scum, and that's all that I'll be. Totally impervious, you can't get to me. To keep up with my thought pattern, you'll have to think so much faster. Don't pass audit probe. Uber Liber Renes came. Master. Come on then. A poem about marijuana. I know you all hate the word, but here we go. The poem's called Marijuana, Cannabis, Pot or Ganja. Blah 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 blah. That's part of the title. Such squabbling over semantics is probably okay for you new romantics. Divisions, haven't there been enough? It's just a word, that's petty stuff. If you argue with me over the word, I'll turn away because I think it's absurd. But carry on your argument as if you haven't heard. Cannabis use isn't legal or even decriminalised. The plant was never illegal, but its users were always despised. Back to what I was saying about arguing over a word. Do you think it's not deliberate they steer you like a herd? Marijuana isn't racist, marijuana's just a word. And if you knew the history, you'd also think it absurd. The word only entered English through a man named William Hurst. He was part of the abomination and one of the very worst. Another, a banker, the US Treasury, Secretary of State, who wanted hemp to disappear to make his investments great. He invested into fossil fuels, an industry spreading its wings, with fossil oils in everything. Imagine the wealth that brings. So prohibition wasn't really about people getting high. Marijuana, the word, was bandied about by a very racist guy. He was married to the niece of the banker. Now let me tell you why. His main task just prohibition and to get legislation by. If you were obviously downright racist, it was quite acceptable, see? If you weren't what they call Caucasian, you were looked at differently. The man in question was that and more. Anslinger was his name. He made sure the word marijuana would enter the halls of fame. He fooled the people in the West that marijuana was a pest. Everyone knew what cannabis was for, natural medicine and so much more. Cannabis, they all agreed, was a very useful, non-dangerous weed. He told the world marijuana was bad, which made greedy people very glad. But he tricked them all by using a word that most of them had never heard. If you think that's crazy, it gets far worse than that. It turned a guy named Dr. Munch into a fucking bat. They must have paid him a lot of money to swear it in court because he just looked so funny. But funny or not, people believed, and Slinger and his mates were much relieved. There were others too in this plot about marijuana, weed, cannabis, pot. The owners of DuPont and that guy named William Hearst. The Rockefellers were also in that gang I call the worst, because prohibitionists are all the same. Don't trip on semantics. Don't play their game. So the name marijuana, and this is my point when you vape or eat or light your joint, it's just a word and not worth an arguing, unless you're a puppet on a very outdated string. But if we stop arguing, this war could soon be done, or simply just continue, and then we know who's won. And that's from this amazing book of drivel that I'm advertising blatantly at the end of this crap. And there you go. I'm really going now. I've got nothing else to say. I've got nothing else of any value to contribute to society or the world in general. I've only got my pants on, so you're not going to see any lower than that. And have a great lockdown. Well, as it's not lockdown anymore apparently. Namaste.